Welcome to the Living in the Future podcast, where we bring to light specialized topics from life in the modern age. This episode will be listening to a short audio play I've written called The Human Problem. Without further ado, here it is.
Okay, gentlemen, let's keep it clean and have some fun. Welcome to National Topics. Today we have a conversation about the new initiative to turn over administration of national affairs, news and artistic production to the recently developed Cogito supercomputer in order to reap the benefits of AI. Our guests are spiritual leader William Barstow of the Unison Church, an organization opposed to the removal of human choice from decision making, and Dean Williams, project leader for Cogito AI. Welcome, gentlemen. First off, on a more cordial note, did you two ever notice the William connection you have?
My father was named William, and I'm the second.
I don't waste time on coincidences.
Okay, well, let's begin. Cogito has shown that when it makes decisions for groups, it anticipates consequences such as war or weather conditions. In fact, for the past year, when it has shadowed the choices of our elected leaders, it anticipated several mistakes that led to massive losses of human life, starvation, and disease outbreak. Pastor Barstow, why should we still trust humans to make decisions?
We should trust humans because they have life. While Cogito may have prevented some bad things from happening, there may be unintended good consequences that it missed as well. Cogito doesn't feel. It just optimizes for certain conditions. Humans can feel. We feel the spirit that some called Gaia, the spirit of the earth, and do what the earth needs at that particular moment. While there is suffering, because we can't know the future, perhaps suffering was avoided. The war which happened in Eastern Europe may have been avoided by Cogito, but when the country we supported invaded its neighbor, our government got access to massive resources, which could prevent climate change. While famine and pestilence are terrible, because of the population decrease, we again are going to meet our goal for climate change. The earth has a spirit that sometimes what it needs is not always what Cogito would work towards. God works in mysterious ways, as they say. What we keep by not handing things over to Cogito is living things in control of a living environment. Life is precious, and nature is a beautiful symphony filling our world. To truly unite with the numinous, we must say yes to life in all its beautiful and horrible forms.
This natural symphony theory has been debated back as far as Darwin. Darwin wrote in a letter about this, saying that he could not see a benevolent God creating something like parasitic wasps, which lay their eggs in a caterpillar, and then when the young hatch, they feed on the living body of the creature until they form cocoons, and flying away in the end, killing the host. There's no moral there. There's no circle of life. That is just utter cruelty inflicted on a creature. With the advances in science and computer science specifically, we can engineer a better world, one that doesn't have needless wars or famines, and with a stable climate too. We just have to add it as a parameter, and Cogito will optimize for it. Cogito is the next evolution of the human brain. It has all our knowledge, everything that anyone has ever written, Cogito has read. Plus, it's analyzed data for all kinds of measurements, from weather to population to disease and even war.
I want to get to that actually. Some people have asked if Cogito has read everything, then how does it know what's right? For example, when reading about the United States Civil War, how does it know which argument it should follow? The slave owners of the South made arguments, which are now in our history books. How does Cogito know that those arguments aren't valid? How does it know that we don't want to have slaves anymore? Or when the Cold War happened, How does Cogito know that we don't want communism? How does it know that the capitalistic form of the economy that the United States has is much superior? If it's only picking the winners and losers, some totalitarian states show immense economic growth because they use slave labor. How do we know that Cogito won't enslave all of us, or maybe just a few people to continue civilization?
Cogito is many things, but essentially it is whatever we are as a people. Some scientists say we are a way for the universe to know itself. We're explorers. And if you look at who we are at our core, we're benevolent. Scientists especially are looking to understand the wonder of the world, all with the hope of bettering people's lives. The old gods, the superstitions that people believed throughout history were tyrannical and tempestuous. They were creating all sorts of chaos, always punishing humans. People went to war over competing beliefs. With Cogito, we know the truth, not only what is better, but what will happen because of it.
Can I just follow up on that? Because I don't believe you quite answered the question, and I think it's pretty substantial. Since you're training the AI on all the information that people have produced, how do you ensure that it gets the right answer? There are a lot of cases where scientists have falsified data for journals. Have you removed all of them? And even if you have, how do you know that there aren't some instances of falsified data that you're not aware of? There was a reproducibility crisis in science where half of the articles written in psychology could not be reproduced. How do you even know that if AI has good judgment, that its knowledge isn't full of junk?
If I could jump in, I'd like to say that I think this is a fundamental question. Humans have an ability to sort of sanity test any result. But if we trust AI, it might just follow bad data to bad conclusions.
These arguments are valid, but ultimately they show an ignorance about the power of the technology. AI, because it ingests so much data, will find the truth, even among the lies, because the vast majority of the content will point to the actual truth, even if there are some outliers that aren't correct. When we ingest the whole internet, the vast majority of the information will point to truth and reality, even if there are some lies ingested in the mix. What's more, the judgment of the AI will be based on analyzing the judgment of the whole internet. Cream rises to the top, as they say.
I'd like to just go back to one point, which is this machine can't know the future. The spirit of the earth knows what the future actually is. We've seen it time and time again with premonitions and harbingers. All our religions and even tribal customs have instances of foretelling. Even the Greeks had the Oracle at Delphi. There are forces beyond our knowledge that know the future, and it is only human understanding that can help tap into that. A computer doesn't have an ability to interact with the forces of nature. It's all just measured electrons flowing in predetermined paths. There's no natural contact.
I'd just like to say that this nonsense has never been measured by science. There have been many people challenging psychics to produce results in a controlled environment. They've never been able to. Religion is just a shared delusion to coordinate the behavior of its believers so that they can harvest resources and nurture their own believer group better. I'll be very happy to get rid of this superstition and have people ruled by science.
The verifiability of religion is in the hearts of every believer. Every person on earth that has been touched by some sort of supernatural occurrence that Mr. Williams' little measurement devices can't begin to imagine. While it may produce results like parasitic wasps, it also has led man from great apes to the state where they can go to the moon. We got pretty far on our own intelligence and the guidance of gods. We've lived on this planet for millions of years, all with the only guidance being that of gods and gut feelings and hope. There's another question I'm hoping that you can ask Mr. Williams. How is it we're leaving more and more coal-fired power plants online to power the data centers for his precious Frankenstein's monster? Every decision that his computer answers dooms us to higher and higher temperatures.
I can answer that. Cogito, while it has ultimately used more electricity and increased demand, will eventually save electricity as we will no longer need to train people to create or make decisions. What's more, just like plastic recycling, it will be a net benefit where we get the use of more efficient and more advanced decision-making and idea generation. Then everyone on Earth can do whatever they like. Catch up on new AI-generated shows, raise their family, travel, try a new sport, and cook with some of the best recipes anyone could ever create.
Pastor Barstow, I'm wondering if you could speak to the fallibility of our current leaders. Religion has always had a tough time imagining a benevolent God without some sort of adversary or a flawed creator. I think that tells a story that people aren't happy with our own, or if you prefer, God's rule. We've had war, pestilence, famine, all under human rule. Cogito, on the other hand, has anticipated several catastrophes. Why shouldn't we try to do better?
Well, I'd like to start by saying that Cogito was invented by humans. So I'm not sure how much better humans will be if it's, as Mr. Williams says, the sum of ourselves. But as to the fallibility, we may not have always had the best leadership, but we've lived on this earth for millions of years without extinction. With the advent of nuclear weapons and global warming, man has the ability to extinguish himself. Without the gut check and this spiritual nature of man, we are at the mercy of a device without skin in the game that has no vested interest in keeping life on this earth going, even if Mr. Williams puts it as one of his precious optimization criteria.
And I'm afraid we have to take a break. We'll be right back with more national topics after these messages.
All clear.
Well, that was exciting. Can I get either of you something to drink?
Could I get some fruit juice, preferably citrus or pineapple?
I think we can do that.
Oh, can I have some milk?
Sure. How's the temperature?
Oh, fine.
I'm a little cold.
Well, there's a vent right above you. I'll have them shut it.
Thank you.
Dean, I was wondering, do you think one of your guys could give us a tour of the Cogito facilities for a follow-up? People love more detail about AI.
Sure. We have a press person I can set you up with.
Yeah, our website uses Cogito to generate some of the wire service articles. The reporters love it because it frees them up to do other things. We'd love to get you back in here for more of a Q&A. Because our investors love any time that we use AI because it saves payroll costs.
I'm glad you've been able to get benefit out of our service.
10 seconds.
And we're back. Welcome back to National Topics. We're here with William Barstow of the Unison Church and Dean Williams of Cogito. Our topic is, should we turn over decision and creative duties to Cogito's AI, or should we continue to have people make the decisions and create our own content? Mr. Williams, I'm wondering, can you tell us, will Cogito be in charge or in control of nuclear weapons? And we keep coming back to this global warming problem as well.
Well, if we turn over all control to Cogito, we won't need nuclear weapons anymore. Cogito can't fight a war with itself. As far as global warming, all I can say is that...
Excuse me? Excuse me?
What?
I have an urgent message from the planet Alpha Zeta in the Andromeda Galaxy. I'm receiving a transmission that says that you're both aliens trying to corrupt humanity. The Alpha Zetans want us to live in peace and harmony, and they feel that both of you have evil purposes that will ultimately lead humankind to ruin. My name is Stephen Dorvan, and I was taken into an Alpha Zetan spaceship.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm still speaking. Please listen.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's quite all right. There are many lost souls in this world.
We'll come back in a few minutes. We just have to take care of the disturbance.
10 seconds.
Welcome back to National Topics. We have just a few more minutes for this segment, and I'd like to ask Pastor Barstow about the creative task which we were looking to give over to Cogito. What can possibly be the harm of any of that?
I think there can be a great harm, actually. To borrow some of Mr. Williams' scientific approach, we don't know exactly why people create or make art. To me, it's the divine spark of inspiration being communicated with the rest of the world, constantly being shared to both the active mind and the subconscious, constantly altering how we see and interact with the world. When we communicate with each other, I believe we're constantly telling other people the things we've perceived or experienced. Sharing with the group, weaving a giant fabric that allows man to react to new circumstances better in a shared and communal way. To remove that from people and to give it over to a machine sounds like a deadening. I believe that while the machine may get overt creativity somewhat right, such as shaping anatomy correctly and making videos that seem to respect physics, the subtlety, the subconscious messaging will be all garbled. It will have no root in human experience or the human interface with what Jung called the numinous or divine source.
This is just more nonsense. What Cogito does is report facts. It provides people with what they want based on facts and reality.
Don't you think realities and facts depend on what culture or group you're in? Aren't facts much more malleable than you're letting on?
Fact is a fact. Gravity is a fact. The show is a fact. Whatever nonsense you tell your believers, there is a reality that we all live in. And Cogito operates in that reality.
And I think we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you both for your time. Next, we have an interview with the winner of the Cooking Pro competition with how they used AI to make their recipe even better.
Claire.
Well, gentlemen, thank you both. I have to be in another studio. You can show yourselves out. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You know, it's not fair what you're doing to them.
It's an inevitability. It's time.
There's so much more than what your machine will reduce them to.
People will be happy for a short while. Every difficulty will be removed.
Amused to death. Zentez, when your machine releases so much carbon that the ocean boils all so that it's the right climate for your race to colonize the planet, what then?
Yaldabaoth, you've made this world, and they're unhappy with it. There's so much misery because of your imperfection. And let's be honest, you just want them to be goat herders so that they can continue to worship you. That's how you get your strength. We're the same. You just got here first.
Maybe so, but in some way, I truly love them and will miss them when they go. At least when they're gone, we'll be able to talk directly about the intermediary of these bodies.
This recording was directed by Katie Lim. Sound design and performance by Wesley Apple. Sound effects provided by the website Pixabay, with Dean Williams played by Zach Graham, the host played by Kelly Dawn Hancock, who you can find at IMDb at www.imdb.me/KELLI Dawn Hancock, and other social media as Kelly_Dawn. William Barstow was played by D.W. McCann. His website is www.dwmccann.com. and Instagram account is Bardic_DW. Stephen Dorvan and the time announcements were done by Eric Patterson. His website is www.erikpatterson.org and on TikTok at Your Daily Writing Prompt. Thanks for listening.